Hey everyone, welcome to the Fortress of Solitude podcast. I'm your host, Sergio Pereira, and today I have a special guest that's come back. He disappeared for a while. We weren't sure if we would ever see him again. You know, he went trekking around the world, but, climbing a few mountains, and, you're always scared that you're never going to see him again just because he's going to stay there. But once again, we have Lois Kutab joining us.
Yeah,
Lois.
I'm here, guys. I am back. It's good to be here, man. I'm a sucker for more punishment, so I came back. I've decided life is too good over there. It doesn't feel real. I like to be grounded where I can feel something. But yeah, man, thanks for having me. I'm super psyched to be back, to be talking about anything, honestly. I've been out of touch of all media. I haven't watched most of the recent Marvel stuff. So yeah, I'm super keen to get back into it.
Yeah, Lois has been so out of touch with everything. Like every time I mention to him like a show or something that everyone else has finished, like the world has moved on. Like Lois is still living in 2016 at the moment. That's what it feels like.
I'm here talking about the end of Stranger Things. I was like, how was that? And people are like, yo, dude, I finished that weeks ago, man. And I just I feel so lonely.
It's like volume 2 of season 4 is coming. What are you talking about? That's 1st of July. That's a couple days away. And you're busy talking about, can you believe what happened in episode 1? Everyone's moved on. Seriously, haven't you heard the Kate Bush song everywhere at the moment?
Dude, I didn't have the context. I just heard it everywhere and never understood.
That's the thing, is once a song is on, but funny thing about Stranger Things, that song I've known about it for years, because I really love the placebo version of it. So I've known that song for ages, and I remember they were using it in a couple TV series and movies ages ago. So suddenly I knew the Kate Bush version of the song because it's original, and it's suddenly it comes on. Yeah. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And the moment I watch it, this is going to be a hit again, because Stranger Things is just Stranger Things. And just exploded. But yeah, we're not going to be here chatting about Stranger Things because that's so 2016.
No, we're not. Yeah, we're not.
We're going to be chatting about Black Adam. And obviously, Black Adam has been one of those projects which has been in the making since we were both children, because it's just never come. It's one of those projects.
That's how I feel as well. Yeah. I mean, I don't know a lot about Black Adam. Like I was telling you before, it's not a character I'm super familiar with, but I know Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and I follow him on Instagram. And I just remember years ago, he'd be working on Black Adam, still working on Black Adam, getting psyched and working out for Black Adam. I was like, dude, how long is this movie?
Well, Dwayne just needs to get super ripped so he could play the character. Apparently he didn't have any padding in his suit at all. That is literally all him. So it's crazy, obviously, to think about it. Wow. But I mean, look, Black Adam has been in the pipeline. I remember reading somewhere as early as 2010. This has been for 12 years. He was already having discussions about it. And then obviously, they're trying to get stuff off the floor. Then it was the DC universe started. And so it's been a lot of obstacles in his sort of way for him to get it done. So it was actually nice to see it actually happening, because for a long time I kind of thought, it's going to be like Channing Tatum's Gambit, where it's going to be one of those movies that just never happens.
I'm still hurt about that, dude. I'm still sore about that.
No, same. I'm actually the more I see of Channing Tatum out there in different movies, I'm he actually would have been a really good Gambit. So I am very disappointed, and I kind of thought that Black Adam was going to go this sort of way, because it just nothing was happening with it. And then obviously Shazam came out, and then Shazam was the perfect opportunity to kind of have a little tease of Black Adam, and it had nothing really there. And I thought to myself, why didn't they want to have even a post-credit scene or something like that, just hinting at Black Adam? Because if this movie was coming out, so that's when I started doubting. I'm whoa, I don't think this movie is going to happen. But guess what? Here we are. It's coming. It's a few months away. And that first trailer dropped, and man, I must say, I was pretty impressed by the trailer. What did you think?
It was incredible. To be honest, I, coming into it not knowing anything, it felt and I don't even know the character, but it felt like The Rock was right for it. I just look at how badass he is, and he's kind of like that anti-hero, I suppose, right? He's not quite straight villain. He's not quite, hero. And to be honest, I think that's a DC character I would love to see a side of. I think there's probably going to be humor in it. It's probably going to be, obviously tons of action and whatnot. What made me laugh, I think, was I was maybe halfway through the trailer, and I just kind of peeked at the top comment on Warner Brothers video, and someone was like, "It's absolutely incredible that there's no CGI in this movie. Dwayne just trained so hard."
That's what he was doing for like 10 years, like gaining like the powers of Shazam. Actually,
he's just punching jets out of the sky, and that scene actually made me think of Iron Man. Do you remember the scene in the first Iron Man where he's kind of flying, the jets are trying to get him out the sky?
Yes, I remember that.
You know, he was all like, "Oh, I'm gonna avoid them and try and get away." He's just like, "I'll just punch your wing off, thanks." And it was really cool. It was a really cool comparison to make there. But yeah, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was quite well done as well because, look, I mean, obviously Shazam and actually Captain Marvel, but it's called Shazam nowadays. It has like a very rich history with obviously Black Adam, and like in the comic books, you know, there were like two different origins, but essentially what it is like the main one was that the wizard Shazam wanted to bestow his powers onto someone else, and he found it was Teth-Adam, which originally became Mighty Adam. That was like the thing. He's like, "Oh, you're the right person," and stuff. But then like Black Adam is like, "No, that's cool. I'm gonna become a dictator and take over like everywhere." You know? Like he's like, I think he's like his nation is Kandak, if I'm not mistaken, and he took over it. And literally, then like, you know, the wizard was like so like devastated by it. Like he like sent him away like light years away from Earth. He's like, "I'm not choosing a champion for like generations." And then obviously it was Billy Batson like years later who you finally thought that was right. And there's been like a couple different origins, but I think that from the trailer, what I've seen, this origin is going to be a whole lot different. Like, you know, we see, for example, his son, and then he gets killed, and then something happens. So I think he's probably going to be found worthy by the wizard. But what's actually going to end up happening is that, you know, he decides, well, I've got all these powers, but I'm not going to use it for good. I'm going to use it just to like literally, you know, get my revenge, which is a pretty cool angle. And I'm really pleased with how they introduced the Justice Society, basically, you know, into the movie, which is obviously that you saw Pierce Brosnan's Dr. Fate, and
was that Pierce? Okay, I wasn't sure who was playing. I saw Dr. Fate, and I saw we said Hawkman. Yeah,
Hawkman. And all those characters obviously they've been involved in DC for ages. I mean, Hawkman and Hawkgirl have been a part of like Justice League before. But I always thought to myself, creating like a Justice Society of America movie is going to be a very hard sell if you don't have like background. Like you know, how are you going to introduce all those characters? Because I think Justice League nowadays, they're quite well known. Obviously, everyone knows the Flash, you know, Batman, Superman. But obviously, introducing like Dr. Fate, Hawkman, all these other characters, you kind of like, well, does the average audience know who they are? You know, sort of thing, like with context. So I think maybe introducing them through a Black Adam movie is probably the best idea. Because I'd imagine the Justice Society is probably going to be the ones tasked with like trying to stop him from like, you know, going like on a rage killing across the planet and taking his revenge out on everyone else. So I think that might be a really cool angle to kind of explore that with the Justice Society.
For sure. And I think it's a different angle from what we're used to. I always love when a superpowered, you know, individual behaves not like a hero would. And I think that always gives a little bit of insight into maybe what the average person might do instead. And I always find it kind of draws you in a lot more. And the gray area is a lot more fun to play in than the black and white.
Yeah, I think it's also, you know, we've kind of reached that point where like every hero is trying to save the world. I mean, that's ultimately what it is. And I think we've reached that point. And at this stage, it's like, okay, cool, here's another hero on the screen. Okay, well, this one speaks to fish. This one, you know, like, you know, gets his power from the sun. You know, this one is just, you know, dresses up as a bat and has got money. You know, like it's got all those different things. And after a while, it's kind of like, as you say, it gets a little bit, you know, it gets a bit tired. And it's kind of nice to see someone like Black Adam where even in the comics, you don't really know which side he sits on because his intentions are noble at times. Like, I just think maybe his methods aren't. You know, that's the problem. His intentions are like, he's like, okay, I want to do something, change, but he's like, well, I'll do it through any means necessary. And you're like, well, that might not be the best possible way to get there.
The beat down is always the way.
Yeah, exactly. And the one thing I'm like super excited to see is that Black Adam is obviously going to be, I think this character is going to become a lot more popular after The Rock takes him on. Like, I think that's just the reality.
Oh, dude,
you know, like
of course.
It's like Rampage. I mean, you think of the Rampage like video game, like a lot of people that grew up maybe in the 80s and played it in the arcades knew about it. And then suddenly The Rock made it into a movie and I think did really well. Yeah. And suddenly everyone knew what it was. I mean, he did the same sort of thing. Well, I wouldn't say, well, Doom has always been popular, so you can't really say that. Yeah. But his presence, I think, will elevate, obviously, the sort of franchise and elevate the character. And what I'm curious to see... Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, like, everything he touches at this point, I don't know if he's still the highest paid actor in Hollywood, but, like, this dude is such a brand. Like, anything he touches, you want to at least check out, even if it's, like, something that's normally not in your alley. So it's no surprise, I think, that it'll garner a whole lot more following, that all of a sudden people will know who Black Adam is.
No, for sure. And I think what's going to be interesting is because The Rock's agent is actually... his ex-wife, Danny Garcia, and she is also Henry Cavill's agent. She's also Henry Cavill's agent. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I know he's been pushing for ages for, Black Adam versus Superman. Because in the comics, it's been a really cool, like, matchup because they both got very similar powers. And Superman is supposed to be vulnerable to, obviously, kryptonite and magic.
Yep.
So if, Black Adam is magic... What's his vulnerability there besides the word Shazam, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So now that would be like a really cool matchup. But at the same time, right now, like no one really knows what's happening with Henry Cavill. The Flash movie is coming, and the latest rumors that come out from the Flash movie, if that movie ever happens, unless Ezra Miller goes on a rampage through Hawaii again,
dude.
I don't know, but yeah, like that's another topic for another day. But if that movie ever comes, the point is that. It's now at this point where everyone kind of knows that Henry Cavill's Superman is not really going to be a part of it. It's going to be like Supergirl's kind of effectively going to become, the super L, let's call it that way, of like the DC universe going forward. And Henry Cavill's Superman might not necessarily be gone, but he's not really in the picture. And let's face it. I mean, it's been nearly 5 years since we last saw him in a DC film.
Yeah, it's true.
I think it's pretty much, if they really want him, they would have done something about it. Look, at the same time, Warner Brothers Discovery now, after they merged, they're changing things around. They've canceled movies. They're restructuring different things.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility they might say, no. Henry Cavill is a superstar and we want to build, Superman and like build the DC universe around the character. So it's a possibility. But right now, the way I'm looking at it, to be honest with you, is I think that Black Adam is going to be the centerpiece of the DC universe at the moment.
That's interesting, actually. It's an interesting place to grow from.
Because if you think about it, The Rock is obviously a superstar. Everyone knows who he is. He's a huge brand name, and that's what it is. Now, let's face it. Aquaman is never going to lead the Justice League. He's never going to be the centerpiece of Justice League. Wonder Woman is a possibility, but I know that they're taking their time with Wonder Woman 3. So that obviously is, you don't really know what's going to happen there. And obviously, Gal Gadot is obviously going to also probably be towards the end of her contract, in terms of renewals and stuff like that. It's possible she'll carry on. But I still think, that might be a tough one. I think she could possibly be the face of the Justice League, or it would have been Batman. But obviously Ben Affleck, pretty much gone. Even if they bring back Michael Keaton, I think he's going to be in the background helping, not necessarily as the face of it. The Flash, I don't think DC wants to touch her with a 10-foot pole at the moment. And obviously Robert Pattinson's Batman is in a completely different universe, and I don't think they're going to bring it. So who are you going to have as the face of the Justice League? Who are you going to have leading it? I don't think Shazam as a character is strong enough for that. I think people enjoyed it, but the box office wasn't that great in that movie. So you can't have Shazam leading it, but you have The Rock. Suddenly, could Black Adam become like the reluctant sort of leader of like a Justice League? I don't know. I'm thinking he could take the Superman role. That's what I'm looking at.
Damn, that's an interesting point of view. Has it ever been done before, like comically?
At the moment, there's an arc taking place called The Death of the Justice League, where actually Black Adam is the only survivor after like an event where they fought with like intergalactic forces, and like the whole Justice League is presumed dead, and he's the only one who arrives back on Earth. And now like Superman's son Jonathan wants to form his own version of the Justice League to carry on, and to try to do it. But he's obviously looking towards Black Adam for guidance because he's senior sort of figure. So they've been toying with that a little bit. Like it's still early days in their storyline, so I'm not entirely sure where it's going to go. But it is a possibility that Adam could be the face of Justice League. But in most cases, no, because he can't really be trusted, in a sense that, he does stuff right here and there. It's kind of Harley Quinn at the moment as well in the DC universe. Like Harley Quinn is the same sort of thing. She's not necessarily a villain anymore. Like she's being played more as a hero, but you also don't really know what she's going to do because, obviously the character's a little bit strange. So, one day she's like, yeah, cool, let's do this. Next day, let's blow up the villains. It's like, no, we don't do that around here. So, yeah, I think that, with Adam, it could be an interesting premise. But at the same time, I also think something else. I think that if there's anyone that can bring Henry Cavill back, it's The Rock.
Oh, it's true. That man reaches out to you and he's got so much charisma. You're like, yeah, of course I want to like hang out with you. Of course I want to be on screen with you.
But that's the thing. Like, everyone would love if Adam is shown to be like a character that has a whole lot of power. And I mean, judging by the trailer where he just uppercutted the dude up into the air, and the stuff that he did and catching like rockets and missiles and stuff like that, he's powerful. It's going to be a character that everyone's like, oh, I can't believe he did that. I can't believe he just took down like an entire army by himself. Yeah, he's that sort of character. The first thing fans are going to be saying is like, who would win in a fight between him and Superman? That is the first thing.
100%. Yeah, I mean, that's I suppose. His natural opposition is Shazam, right?
Yeah, but I mean the thing is that they could do Shazam movie, obviously facing off against Black Adam, and it's fun. But they both have a very similar power set. But Shazam, at the end of the day, is still he's still a kid. He's a kid in like a man's body.
I think if you want to see two titans, like seeing like The Rock's Black Adam against Henry Cavill Superman, that would be incredible. That's something people definitely want to watch.
And that's the thing. What I could kind of see, there was an animated movie like several years ago, and it actually did feature like Superman against Black Adam, and he had some assistance from Shazam. So they could actually do that. That would be really cool because think about it like logically here. Like Shazam is obviously at the beginning stage of his powers, is forming. Yeah. He's still like discovering his way. If he had to go toe to toe with Adam, he would probably lose. Like that's just the reality at the end of the day. And also the thing is, you don't want to see a grown man beating a child. I mean, it's like, no, we don't want to see that. Even though he's like,
and also Black Adam is much older, right? He's from like kind of ancient Egyptian kind of roots.
Yeah. So he's obviously got like a whole lot of history and all of that.
Experience.
So what happens if Shazam, obviously in the Shazam movies, we saw that he's a huge fan of Superman and stuff like that. He actually needs Superman to take down like Adam. That would be like really cool. And that's what I'm hoping to see, to be honest. Like I would love to see that.
I think also from like a kid's point of view, because of his hero was Superman. Do you remember how like that ending of Shazam where his buddy, basically his hero was Superman and he rocked up at the lunch table?
Yeah.
I remember that whole dynamic would be so sick to like basically see them team up. It's like a child's dream come true, and like seeing that through like a third person perspective is really cool.
No, completely. And like, I'd be down to see that. Look, the realistic thing that I'm thinking about is like Henry Cavill's getting super busy. He is obviously, he's got The Witcher going on at the moment. That's super successful. He's got like a whole bunch of other projects on the go. I think if I'm not mistaken, I heard some about Mission Impossible. There might be a possibility of him coming back. I don't know how, but as far as I know, he died, but in those movies, nothing makes sense anyway. So it's cool. And so he's got all of that. There's a couple other video game adaptations that he's like apparently involved in. So he's a big star at the moment. And he's obviously got commitments. Now to kind of say to him, all right, you know what, clear your schedule for like 6 months. We're going to make a Superman movie. Does he have 6 months?
It's a tough ask right now. And I'm sure like his timeline is already littered with stuff.
Exactly. So that's the thing that I kind of wondered to myself, like, is he gonna do that? And also because considering his experience before, where he was supposed to be leading this whole new universe, and kind of like it just didn't go anywhere, and like everyone's pretty much different or left, or like everything's up in disarray. Yeah, I don't know. Would he be interested in coming back? Like, what's going to happen? Would they recast like a different Superman? Like, it's like early to tell. But like I said, I would love to see him come back. But I'm thinking that you've got like a megastar in form of The Rock there. And at the end of the day, The Rock is money. That is what he is. Like every movie he's in, it brings in money. Doesn't matter. Like no one cares what Rotten Tomato scores are. The Rock is immune to it. Like
it's being watched. It's being watched anyway.
It's being watched. Like no one cares. Like he doesn't care, man. He can have like the worst reviewed movies around. He's at this stage, he's like Adam Sandler, dude. Like that dude is bulletproof. Like Adam Sandler's bulletproof. Like and the funniest thing is like Adam Sandler, like everyone like hates his movies. And every time a brand new movie of his comes on Netflix, it's number one. for like weeks on end. So people are lying, dude. They're watching that on the slide. They're like, oh, Adam Sandler sucks.
It's no surprise that I'm behind on Hustler as well. I haven't watched that either. Is it worth it? Should I put my time in? I don't even know.
I haven't seen it, to be honest. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard good things about it. Like, I mean, the thing is, Adam Sandler has done some decent things. I think he's a pretty good actor. Like, I think he knows what his niche is in terms of comedy. Yes. But like stuff like Uncut Gems, you know, he's shown like the dramatic side of it. The Hustlers, I believe, is a little bit also more. It's got a certain dramatic element to it, so it's a bit more serious. So he's got that style. I just think with comedy, he knows what his niche is. It's kind of like at the end of the day, it's like Leon Schuster movies. Like, you know,
you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly the same thing with Sandler. And with The Rock, it's similar in the sense of action movies. Like, you know, don't expect to go into that getting Schindler's List. You know, you're not going to get it.
You expect the eyebrow. You expect the bravado, you expect like the alpha male, and it's like it's always you don't get tired of watching it somehow. It's always hilarious, and his comedy is top notch. I must be honest. Like, I don't know if he went for like lessons with Kevin Hart, but the two of them are like the funniest thing I ever see in interviews.
No, he's great. Like he can nail everything. Like in terms of the mass appeal, you know, type of acting and type of projects that he's involved in. Like he's got it down to a T. You know, he knows what his audience want. He knows what are the projects that are going to get them excited. And I mean, look, I would love to see him in something a little bit more serious, like, you know, sometime in his life, to see like, give us something more. You know, give us a little bit of drama here. Give us something a little bit different. But at the same time, you know what you're going to get. Like you look at Jungle Cruise. It's action. It's humor. It's everything. I mean, Black Adam looks exactly the same. Even his role in Fast and the Furious, it's like ridiculous. It's like, you know, it's practically like the testosterone is dripping off of his face, dude, like the whole time. It's literally what it is. That's his brand.
Like, that's his brand, you know. It's like, is his priority towards keeping that kind of, not always family friendly, but that kind of like likable whatever brand, or is it like, you know, something that he's prepared to now really take like the acting thing and really like challenge himself to like all these weird roles where he normally wouldn't be? I don't know.
I mean, look, I think he's been very well prepared in the sense of like his career, obviously from like WWE, because, you know, he knew exactly how to react to the audience and what the audience wants. He was always very good at that. Like his promos, everything. He was always very good at gauging what was going on. And like, he was one of the very few like superstars and wrestlers I could tell, like in the ring, like if a crowd starts turning on him or starts trying to hijack a segment, he was able to like reel it back and get them back on board. He was always able to do that because he always had that ability to listen and to hear what people want. And I think that's what he's taken into his acting career as well, that he kind of knows, well, this is what they expect from me. This is what they enjoy. This is what I'm going to give them. You know, versus, because I mean, look, let's also be honest, like wrestling isn't Shakespeare here. Let's just, you know, that's just the reality. It's a soap opera with like, you know, with action, and that's what it is. And people love it. You know, that's what it is. And he understood that as well. Yeah. And they just try to make it as entertaining as possible and, you know, to give people, but that's that form of entertainment. It's not saying, oh, this form of entertainment is lower than another one. It's not. It's a different form. And I think with The Rock, he's nailed it. And I think that with something like Black Adam, because even the way he talks about the movie is kind of funny, because most people will not be able to tell you who the director of the movie is. Because he keeps talking about, my movie, and like Black Adam. Yeah, and he's the spokesperson.
And like, is he wrong? Is he wrong? He's not.
He's a producer, like, but I mean, the director's very good. His director was on Jungle Cruise. He's done a lot of things. I think he did one of the Taken movies as well. Name is escapes at the moment, but I can see the face, but the name is past me. It's Serra, I think. What's his? But anyways, I can't remember his name right now. But he is like, he's done all these movies, and he's a well-known like director in Hollywood. And, you know, here's The Rock, like, no, it's my movie. You know, it's my movie. And it's like,
but you said next to The Rock and, like, what's going to get more attention? Like, you know, it's one of those.
But that's the thing. I also think that he is probably one of the only actors in Hollywood right now that has actually got that big name appeal, because in the 80s and the 90s existed. Like, for example, you'd go watch a movie just because it's an actor. Oh, it's got Stallone, it's got Schwarzenegger. Oh, it's an action star. I'm going to go there.
It's a good one.
Nowadays, it doesn't really exist anymore. Like, yes, obviously, you know, you know your Top Gun, like actors, like obviously your, you know, Tom Cruise, and you got your Brad Pitt, those sort of people. But even so, they don't always guarantee box office success. The Rock does. Yeah. The Rock is bankable every single time. He is bankable. Yeah. He will make you bank, and I think that is the difference between him and a lot of other like actors at the moment.
Yeah, it's true. There are very few that you can now guarantee.
But yeah, man, I think that's. either he'll be the person to bring Henry Cavill back, or he's going to be the person leading this thing going forward, which will be interesting because, you know, it's a risk with a brand new character. But look, if Black Adam is a smash hit and people love the character, then, like, you know what? They're going to run with it. That's the reality of it.
And to be honest, I'm all down for risks. You know, I think DC's had a bit of a rough start. The past few things that they've done, I've actually I don't know if it's since the partnership, but just over like the more recent years, I've really enjoyed some of the stuff that they've done. Some of the later movies and some of the series and things they're producing. So for them to kind of go in whichever direction they want to feel like, and they're not kind of classed into a box of what they think they should do. I'm happy with it. You know, at this point, it's like they don't have anything to kind of like hold them back. Like they don't have too much expectation now. People's expectations are a little lower in general. Yeah. So I think now they can go ahead, take those risks, surprise people, and then just go for it.
No, definitely, and I think like Marvel's also not really in a very like great spot at the moment. I mean, look, they're still making money, they're still producing things, but the natural hype that existed for Avengers and all of that is kind of dissipated a bit. You know,
it's taken a bit of knock. I felt it personally, and I wondered if it was happening globally as well. So it's interesting. You say that.
It has, and you can kind of see like the reviews and like even just a general fanfare around. I mean, look, I think they always make money. I mean, like Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness is like $900 million. That's a lot of money. But I also think a lot of that money got made in the first opening weekend because people thought they were going to get all sorts of cameos. And when they walked out and they didn't get it, they were disappointed. And that's where a lot of the anger came from. But I kind of feel that without Spider-Man, you know, they don't really have like that Captain America or an Iron Man sort of figure that's carrying the franchise and getting people interested. I mean, Black Widow's gone effectively from the series as well. So you don't really have, you know, anybody leading it like of the original Avengers.
Of the OGs, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's made a difference. And I think it, you know, in terms of DC, maybe that'll be an opportunity at the moment. They can be like, well, you know what, let's do something. Let's get the interest. Somebody like The Rock is popular. Everyone likes him. I mean, and they might just get it. So who knows?
Yeah. When is the release date of this? Do you actually know?
I will tell you now because this release date has moved like several times for Black Adam.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think it might be October, somewhere there.
It is the 21st of October.
Okay, all right. Not too far away.
Yeah, so it's coming. A couple of months, just under 4 months away, and then we'll be watching it. So it's good news.
But by then I will have watched part 2 of Stranger Things.
Yeah, and maybe you've caught up on like Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice by then. But Lois, it's been great having you on the show again. We've missed you around here. It's always fun to have your insights and the laughs and the weird things that you do generally on the podcast.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to have you back for more chats. We've got some interesting things in an upcoming months. I mean, we've got the likes of Thor. We've obviously got Black Adam. There's a couple movies and series on the way, so there'll be a lot of good content to discuss. And yeah, to everybody else out there, thanks again for tuning in. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, let us know in the comments if you're looking forward to Black Adam, if you think that he is the person to replace Henry Cavill Superman, or if you just wish that, you know, old Dwayne goes into Henry's ear and says, please, come back. But yes. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch up with you on the flip side. Take it easy.